Welcome to the Mindset Evolution podcast, powered by Self-Recoding, world-class consulting and coaching services that you can access at selfrecoding.com. Self-Recoding is a unique blend of neurohealing modalities that will empower you to reach your full potential. Join thousands of others who have experienced rapid results in their journey of personal growth. Now enjoy our show where we bring you tools for a powerful mind with your hosts, Kathi and Daisy.
And hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Mindset Evolution podcast, the podcast that gives you tools for a powerful mind. I'm your host from Down Under, Kathi Tate. With me, as always, Daisy Pap. Hi, Daisy.
Hello, my dear friend, Kathi Down Under. Good to see you. Good to hear you. And I know that we have something special to speak about today.
We do, Daisy. And in honor of the conversation, I'm calling this episode Intermission. For me, intermission in my culture means basically stopping halfway through and getting your snacks. Not quite what's happening here, but we are a little sad to inform everybody out there that we won't be producing weekly episodes for a while. We're going to be dropping back to monthly. We have been producing this podcast for a super long time, and Daisy and I have put numerous, uncountable personal resources into the show. And at this point in time, my business needs those resources. And so unless we magically get a major sponsor in the next few weeks, we have no choice but to step back a little bit. However, Daisy has begged me not to kill Bald and Blonde, basically.
Well, I don't recall.
And so I have agreed we are going to keep our baby alive.
Yeah.
But we cannot do weekly recordings for a while. We don't know how long that's going to be, guys. And we are sad to bring you this news, but we have to do what we have to do in our lives. And for me right now, that means putting as many resources as I can to my business, because that is what allows me to live. I'm completely self-employed and don't have any other support. So that's the way it is for me. Daisy, your take on this?
Well, I do not recall begging you because I simply opposed. I said that's not possible. We cannot just stop doing what we're doing. And we are doing this for almost 4 years. We started producing our first episodes in June of 2020 and released our first show on the 18th of August in 2020. And it is just not right. It doesn't feel right. It doesn't sound right. It doesn't look right when we just cut it off and let it go. And I opposed. Kathi understood that my opposition, me opposing, is not going to go away. And then she realized that it's maybe a good idea. That's my point of view.
Yes, I know. I was exaggerating, just trying to make light of it. It was a super hard decision to make, and I'm still torn. I find it very hard to do something without throwing all of my effort in, all of my resources in. And so that is what has me a little bit torn. And I'm sad because I love our show. I love bringing it out weekly. And I know that we do have followers out there who really appreciate our work and look forward to these episodes every week. And so I do offer my apologies to you guys, but we just don't have the resources to produce it every week at the moment. So if anybody does know of a major sponsor out there who would like to come on board and support our work and support the Mindset Evolution podcast, please do put them in touch with us, because that could make a huge difference. And likely, if you guys out there aren't happy with this decision, go to baldandblonde.live and send us some support. Your words of support, your resources that you are able to share with us, every bit helps and would make a major difference. So I'm putting it out there. If you want us to come back weekly, we need help.
I agree. On the other hand, what I recall us discussing backstage is that actually everything is said and done. in these 200 episodes that we have produced and aired and are there available as long as the internet exists, and maybe then later on in different shapes and formats, this is a library of treasures, a library of a lifetime of work and learning on my end. That's what I believe bringing into the show. And more than 2 decades working with hundreds and hundreds of clients, conducting approximately 15,000 one-on-one sessions. And that is what's in this podcast. So I do believe that it's a good idea to revisit some of these shows that we did, because we do this live. I understand that our listeners hear it later when it's cut and edited and mastered by our wonderful sound engineer, Milos in Serbia, who is a wonderful teammate, wonderful producer, the technical part of it. And I appreciate him tremendously, and I'm not going to let him go. So in the meantime, I'm producing my audio programs so that we can keep him working, so that he's not going elsewhere. Because whenever you decide, Kathi, okay, let's go back to maybe twice a week podcast, and we don't have that sound engineer, it's such a challenge to find people who are a good match mentally, human values based, characteristically, and he also put his heart and soul in this show. And he wrote a very emotional message to me. And he said, so he's so saddened because he learned over the past 3.5 years so much that he could have not possibly learned elsewhere unless he would have edited and mastered our episodes. So even if it's only for Milos, I do believe we cannot stop doing this entire project. That's number one. And then, of course, there are the others. So many of you listeners that are unknown to us. I wish to get together with you. I wish to open my Zoom room. Come on, we have 500 places in my Zoom room. We can meet and we can do a live Q&A. Reach out to us when you organize it. We're open for that. And we are especially open to rediscuss some things that have been said, that you have said, that I have said, that we thought at that time. And also to see how we evolved and maybe think it a little bit differently in tiny little aspects. Or what we newly learned in addition since.
Yeah, I'm completely on board with that. I think you're right. 200 episodes of mindset basics. That's what we've done. And it's an incredible feat, to be honest. And I know that I have changed radically in the last 4 years. So actually, I think it would be super interesting to go back to episode 1 and redo some topics because I know how much I've grown. And I wonder now if I listened to some of the early ones, if I would laugh at some of the things I said or the way I thought, because I really have evolved and learnt. And I know that a lot of our listeners who have been with us since the beginning have reached out and said the same thing. And look, being the topic selector and being in control of that has been an interesting ride too, because I've tried to do topics that I feel matter to people. I've been inspired by people in my life, situations that have occurred, and I've tried to put them into a logical sort of order, logical to me anyway.
That's very good, yeah.
To really cover all of the basics that I believe people out there are struggling with. And your depth of experience and learning and working with people is so vast, and you've been doing it for such a long time. I think that my perspective as somebody who's learning this stuff is very representative of our listeners. And so I hope that they've connected with the topics that I've chosen and grown with us as we have grown, especially me, along the way. And so I think that they would probably be very interested in some revisitations of topics too. So we might do that over the next couple of months, do some revisitation. We're not quite sure, guys, how exactly we're going to do this, whether we change our format. It's all a little bit up in the air. This has been a fairly recent decision, and I've moved house in the middle of it. And things are still a little bit up in the air. But we do want you to know that we are still here and we still have the passion and the belief. It is simply a matter of real world resources at this point in time. And I have to put my financial well-being at the top of my own pile because I am a single, independent, self-employed person and I don't have support otherwise. So that's just the way it is. And it's not that we don't love this. It's not that we don't want to keep doing it. It's simply a matter of having to be really tough about priorities for a bit. So we're not sure how this is going to go or what we're going to do, but we do know that you love to be surprised. And Daisy, of course, loves for me to surprise her.
Yes.
And as she said, none of this is scripted. We do this live and we talk off the bat. We don't research. We don't look up things unless it's maybe a dictionary meaning. We talk from our hearts and from our experience. And we know you guys that do follow us appreciate that. And so that will not change. It is coming from the best place from within us with the purpose to help humanity in our way. So that is what Bald and Blonde represents. And the Mindset Evolution podcast represents to me being open to grow and learn and evolve the way you think, because I believe truly in my heart it can change everything just by taking on board all the things that we've shared in these 200 episodes. And it's a massive undertaking, massive 200 episodes. Like you could listen to one a day and it would take you months to get through our catalogue. So we do urge anybody out there who might be a new listener and have recently found us, please go back and listen to the beginning of our episodes, listen to our early ones and give us feedback. Tell us what you think, ask your questions, and perhaps those interactions will form the basis of our recaps.
Maybe, yeah. I'd also like to thank the listeners who over the years sent topic suggestions, because some of them were just excellent and urgent. And I very much miss having more interaction with our listeners. So when any of our listeners has a group or has an audience or has a big family or has a great community, invite us, invite Kathi, invite me, and let's do a live. Kathi and I, we're in opposite time zones. I know that doesn't exist, but opposite places in the world. Kathi in Australia, West Coast, and I'm in South Florida. Make it possible. And if you want to do it 24/7, then maybe you can get to Kathi for 12 hours and then you get me for 12 hours. Why not? We can do a marathon of that, because why not? And a few hours overlapping. So there's so much that can be done. I'm willing to do it. I do it anyways. We need your help, dear listeners, because, and I get goosebumps all over, because we did really everything with, I must say, in the beginning, with tiny, really less than mediocre technical setup. And we did because we knew the world needed it, especially in 2020, the point of no return, I'd say. And there's only one way through for humanity. That's how I see it. We're in the birth canal, and there's only one way through. So when you see value in what we have done over the years, because I know you see value in it, Kathi, and so do I. But dear listeners, when you see value, then I do believe that the energy exchange will become harmonized, value for value, through appreciation, through whatever people can. And I'm certain that many of our listeners are absolutely super inspired, geniusly thinking humans. When you have ideas, reach out and we're open and we will evaluate and we get on a call with you and we're happy to hear. There's only one requirement and I'm very firm on that. And so far, Kathi has been too, and I believe that will remain this way, that we're not for sale. We want someone who supports, who sees our vision, shares our vision, supports our vision, and lets us do what we know best. And we have proven over the past 200 episodes, plus actually 200 plus, because we have lots of salon talk and recordings that we have not aired yet.
Yeah, absolutely. And I would also say that the other way that you can support us is to purchase an empowering audio program. They're right there on the Bald and Blonde website. There are 5 programs right now. Can we announce the new one, Daisy?
Well, yes, there are 2 new ones. There's one, I Free Myself Forever, and we have Sleep Ease for babies. And I hear from people from around the world, all of a sudden the parents sleep well too. And it is absolutely stunning. The feedback we receive, the thank you notes, the thank you emails we receive are just beautiful. And it's a very healthy program. And the I Free Myself Forever is something that is, I think, very much needed in today's world, where we free ourselves from old energies, from all the things that no longer support us in becoming the best version of ourselves. And these programs come from my heart. On the baby program, I worked 16 months. And it finally is released last week.
Why don't you share the incredible story that you've told me about the sleepies? Please share with our listeners. I think this is important. There are many young mothers out there not sleeping.
Yes.
They could do with this.
Well, so we got much feedback because I spoke to young mothers in a stroller, dads in a stroller, and I said, hey, I have this program at the airport, in the taxi, wherever I went, in the store, walking on the beach. When I saw people with babies, I asked them, hey, look, I have this program. Would you like to try it and maybe give me feedback? So that's how we collected the feedback. But the crown of all the feedbacks is that a client of mine has a 13-month-old boy who has since birth not slept one single night through. And he listened to the baby Sleep Ease program, and the baby boy slept through the night for the first time at 13 months old. And this shows me that I know it works, because everything that I put out there, I test on myself first before I even give it to anyone, friends and family, because it's a very responsible task. And I appreciate that you bring that up, because for me, it's already an old story, because I hear new stories now and they're piling up. Beautiful, even grandmothers who has insomnia for 5 years. She said that I'm not diagnosing anyone. And she all of a sudden sleeps with a baby program.
Amazing. Truly amazing, I believe, that the impact that something like that can have just by turning it on and listening. I think it's wonderful. And it occurs to me, Daisy, that when I started this and started talking about intermission and said that it's normally a time to pause, get your snacks, well, perhaps our empowering audio programs and all the other things that you've done are the snacks for our listeners. And we are asking that as many of you as possible reach out and purchase a program, purchase a book. There's all sorts of things on the baldandblonde.live website, as well as the daisypap.com website that would help us tremendously. You're not just throwing money at nothing. You are truly contributing not only to the podcast, which we believe helps people all around the world. We are heard in over 102 countries, but also because these tools empower people. They empower humanity. You can take control back in your life, and the difference they make is phenomenal. I know myself, the empowering audio program for weight release worked immediately on everybody that tested it with us, myself included. Within 3 weeks, I had dramatic results, and I didn't change anything else except listen to the program. Now, imagine if you combined it with some nutrition, some exercise, some healthy habits, you completely transform your life. And that starts just with a half an hour a day. The potential is incredible. This can be a great way to support us, but also bring something back into your life for yourself and your family that will truly help transformation. So we're not asking you to just give us something for nothing. As Daisy said, the value exchange is there. The podcast gives free, amazing value. We both know that. We've both had the feedback so many times. And it is why I have agreed to keep it alive, because I truly believe in it. And then there is the amazing value from the audio programs. They truly work. There's all different ones. We've got the normal sleep one, the weight release, the weight gain, the well-being, the increase your muscle mass, prosperity.
Now that you speak about it, I had a conversation earlier today with a young man, and he purchased the muscle mass program like a year and a half ago. And we had a conversation random, and he was speaking, he would like to gain a little more muscle. And then I said, maybe you want to use in combination the weight gain and the muscle program. He says, no, back then I was 185 pounds and he's really tall. So that was not a good weight for him. And now he's 215 through the program. He said, I totally forgot that I gained muscle. So that just happened randomly this morning. And maybe it's a good idea to get some testimonials on video. Maybe when some of our listeners now purchase them, and then give us your video testimonials. Send it to ask@baldandblonde.live, or send it to Bald and Blonde on Facebook, I think, or send to us on Bald and Blonde on Telegram, and contact us because we would like to hear from you. And I think it is a good idea. I didn't even think about that value for value. But yes, that is not that we're wanting to buy another yacht, because neither Kathi nor I have one, and I'm not sure if I ever wanted one. But we have produced so much value, and we are now open for also receiving value in exchange for that. And when there are gifts, we're absolutely graciously accepting them. Thank you in advance.
We would be super grateful, and you would be doing your part to help keep Bald and Blonde alive. We would be very grateful, and you can rest assured that we will not only appreciate the gesture or the contribution, but we will put it to good use. It does cost us a lot of resources to produce these episodes. We have a fully qualified sound engineer. Daisy puts hours of work into editing. I've been putting hours of work into the marketing and the back end and the website. We've got other team members doing things like transcripts. We put hours and hours of work and financial resources into this. And so any help would be most appreciated. And it will help us continue to produce work that we know helps everybody who hears it. So thank you in advance, and please do spread the word. Right now, we really need your support.
Yeah, I agree. And then be ready, because we don't know with what we come up next and how and when.
Yeah.
But we will be back in a month. So 4 weeks. Yeah. It's not a month, in 4 weeks for sure. And maybe even earlier.
Time will tell. I think that kind of wraps up what we needed to say today. And we hope all of you out there understand our position and will continue to support us. And as we've spoken about, there's many ways you can do that. So we're thanking you in advance. And here's to another 4 years. May not be weekly, but we will stay the course.
Wonderful. I take that as a commitment. And now we have thousands of witnesses.
Yes.
Wonderful.
That's it from us today. We are Bald and Blonde.
Mindset Evolution. Talk to you next time, for sure. Thank you for listening in to the Bald and Blonde Mindset Evolution podcast. Please share our show with your family and friends. Together, we make this world a better place for you, for us, for future generations. When you need consulting or coaching, visit selfrecoding.com. Also, please remember to rate us 5 stars and leave a review, and support us at baldandblonde.live. Talk to you soon.